Raven, really one of the most like layered characters in DC's mythos of all time, right? This is the priest of darkness and control. But really, like, we get into this battle with her and her father, which is a significant battle. Trigon himself isn't just a demon. He's this mythic personification of inherited trauma, like generational evil and suppressed rage, as his whole goal is to conquer. But even within all the workings of Raven, we ignore the fact that she is a cambion. She is this unique species that is a hybrid between a true demon and a true human. And these are rare because these encounters don't happen very often. We don't even see them a lot in myth telling on a large scale. And the other part of it is cambions very rarely survive, like physically, very rarely survive. And the ones who do survive often suffer all type of mental issues. So she's already up against it, born into trauma kind of genetically. And that even kind of makes Trigon's plan a little less stable because you're relying on a very unstable and very unpredictable interaction to be part of, expanding your dimensional empire. So what she goes through is always in this shadow mode of herself. She has this mantra that is not just about spell casting, it's a mental lock. Literally, he wants to use her as a vessel, and she has to use all of her control to keep him back. She's constantly exercising control and suffering. She's a living experiment of what happens when you put cosmic level destructive potential into this particular vessel, who does have some human traits, and I'm not denying her human nature, simply saying that she stands out. And she is unique. It needs to be talked about differently. And even like her whole symbolism, the cloak itself is not just, I'm keeping my hood on because I'm a G like that. This is literally saying, I'm not my father's rage. She has to hide. And because she is an empath, which is another huge component of her, is she has to block out all these emotions. And the cloak becomes a symbol of that and an effective tool to keep her mental health protected. Now, when we see her most often, she's very monotone. She doesn't, give a lot of influx. And this is her discipline because she understands that she has to control herself. She has to protect her rage because Trigon is this devouring father. And he's waiting for the moment that she gives in to what he represents, which is that, that rage, that anger, and she could flip at any moment. And he's constantly in her noodle. So this really gets into some psychological stuff because it almost manifests in what we see with people who suffer from delusions, right? And, having these voices talking to them. She literally has a voice that at all times is telling you, I'm going to kill your friends. I'm going to kill everyone here. Just let me out. But what really gets tempting is that he's also there for her when times are really, really hard. When she's struggling and when she's pressed and her friends are in danger. He says, let me out. I'll handle this. So not only is she fighting against her own, temptation, she's fighting against the need to use this effective tool. So when she gets with the Titans, this is kind of where, the way I see it, her healing really kind of begins. Because she has friendship, because she has acceptance, because she gets humor. She sees her friends, as this order, right? Nightwing becomes order and discipline. We see that personified in him, his ego. Starfire becomes emotional openness, so she becomes the heart. Beast Boy kind of represents joy and chaos. And Cyborg kind of shows her how to integrate the body and the mind, or all of her parts coming together, because she needs to reconcile this fragmented pieces of her, accepting her human mother and her blindness because she's complicit in this as well, and then accepting what her father is, but understanding that she's neither one of them, and she can forge her own path. Now, what the path of a cambion in a human or demon world is always a question. So there's a lot loaded into this character beyond just being a young girl dealing with something massive. She has a whole host of physical and psychological defaults that are going to be unique or rare to a very small slice of beings that exist. So just a massively interesting character. Again, her large story is fighting for control, emotional mastery, but I think some of the other equivalents really get into this almost mythological persona of a cambion, of this hybrid between these two worlds that are not compatible with each other really in any way. But a great character. Give me your thoughts. on her and what other characters you want to get a deeper dive into.